I could still be in my mum.
Am I in shot?
Yeah, you're in shot.
This is a clean setup though, right?
Yeah, sure. We'll see how it edits anyways.
Yeah. Take up the whole view.
No, you're actually chilling, mate. You're
Okay.
chill.
Thanks.
Are you in shot?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
it's
both in
recording.
perfect shot, man.
Thank you.
Alright, are
Right.
you ready?
Yeah, I should do.
I'm ready.
You know how long it's been since I've filmed anything?
It's 5
I haven't
months.
put out a video since
5
last
months.
March. Well, except for the song, haven't put out anything since last March.
You know the only month that hasn't been affected by coronavirus yet is February.
Yeah, that's because we were born in February.
Yeah, but the fucking...
I don't think that has
That makes
The-
February 2020 shit.
It's so weird when you think about it. Like, everyone knew COVID was coming.
Yeah.
In, like, February, we knew it was going to hit.
Yeah.
But it was just life as normal. Like, when it first came in,
Yeah.
you could still do everything.
Yeah.
And you'd think they'd have just put some sort of restriction in.
Yeah, right. Straight away we saw what was happening in China. Surely the Australian government would be like, right, we just need to take it easy for a minute. Like, we don't need to lock down, but everyone, if you can stop kissing each other on the mouth if you don't know each other, that'd be ideal. You know?
Like, I'm remembering
Vegas, the Bachelor.
down in Melbourne, they were just waiting for it to blow up.
Yeah, right.
It's
do
like they
something
were
about
gonna wait for it to blow up and then do something about
Instead
it.
of-
They had
Yeah.
no restriction whatsoever. You think they'd be like, at least some sort of store. I guess they didn't really know what to do yet, but
The time when
Just
I
weird.
was like, right, Corona's in Australia when Tom Hanks got it and he was in Queensland, and I was like, why are you in Queensland, you idiot? Like, get coronavirus in some other country.
It
Yeah.
was it's just real weird.
Have fun.
It moved very slowly until it got here,
and
and then it was
blew
like,
up.
boom,
It
gone,
really
we're
did
off.
feel like they were just waiting for it to
Right.
blow up before they did anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really be mad because Australia's handled it pretty well,
True.
comparatively. The
Yeah.
worst we got was like 800 a day in Victoria's peak.
And this crisis...
Other countries get, like,
800 deaths a day.
Yeah.
Minimum,
Yeah,
I mean, US got like 4,000 the other day. US is about, hold on, let me pull out my phone and check, but they're about to surpass, if they haven't already, the number of deaths in World War II, the number of
Really?
American
Really?
deaths. Yeah. So that's 407,000.
That's incredible.
And they passed 400,000 the other day. My Samsung's tripping out, but if someone wants to look it up, see if they caught the dub yet.
Don't know if that's a dub.
What am I searching?
Just US COVID deaths. Yeah, no. They're about to.
It's incredible.
And
They
there's
will,
the
they
people-
will definitely pass it, because if they're not, then they're like 2,000.
And then there's the people that are destroying the vaccines.
406,000.
Really?
Yeah.
406.
So you get, like, US is like
No,
destroying
World War
vaccines
II.
because it's like
Yeah.
anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
World War II American deaths. So it's
Anti-vaxxers.
406,000, and I'm fairly sure it's 407.
Liam, what do we think about anti-vaxxers? I'm keen to get your
yeah.
opinion.
Hold
Hang
on,
on,
one sec.
so-
Let's just see what vaccines
They...
Is that mic really
America, America lost...
Yeah. Well, we've got 3 microphones,
So America
I
lost
believe it's the third.
416,800 military deaths and 418,500 deaths in total in World War II.
Right,
That's
yeah.
including Pearl
So they need another,
Harbor.
need another 10k.
they need enough. I think they need to stop now, and if they don't go past it, no one will be disappointed.
Yeah, right. No, but they will, because
I
like
know,
they're
yeah.
saying it's not even... They're literally getting like 300,000 new cases a day.
It's incredible.
That is
Absolutely
insane.
ridiculous.
But, you know, as Lord and Saviour Donald Trump said, if we stop testing them, we get less testing, we get less cases.
Less confirmed cases. That's true. You know, I first heard that, and I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I thought about it a bit more, and I was like, you know what?
Is
We
that
just-
something.
If we just don't test anyone, like
We don't
in the
have
whole world, we can just forget about it.
He's not wrong.
We don't have coronavirus.
We'll just have a lot of deaths for unknown causes.
Unknown reason.
What
Everyone
the-
starts coughing, we just go, they've just got a cold, and we'll just have more people dying from the cold.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but like, it's just fucked how they want to open.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of them that are
Yeah.
like, bugger it, we'll just ride this wave. I mean, Switzerland, I think it was Switzerland, went with the whole herd immunity thing. They were just like, we're just gonna hope it's
I
Switzerland.
think Norway.
Possibly.
I think it was somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Have you got that one?
Some Northern European country, they're just like, bugger it, we'll just
Sauce brain
open.
sauce.
We'll just open and see what happens.
Yeah.
And you're just getting
That's,
crazy death rates.
I mean, if it works, it
Obviously,
works. But
yeah. Well,
at
it
what
can't work
sacrifice,
without
really?
a lot of death.
What's your predictions on when like travel will be allowed back, like in every country?
Who
A long time. I'm
When
gonna
the
say.
vaccine's effective.
Yeah.
Yeah. When
Give me a year.
When the COVID's gone, I would say you think it would start to get back to normal, but look, if it's still around, then
In a
they're
year.
gonna block people coming.
I
Because
mean,
that's why
That's right,
Australia's
that's right.
done well, because we're an island, so we can just not let people come in.
that's right. It's
We
easy.
can just say, if you're coming in, you have to. I mean, my dad was in quarantine. They literally just sit in a hotel room for 2 weeks. You can't leave the room.
Yeah.
It works, and then they test you day 3 and day 10. If you're negative day 3 and positive day 10, you'd be pretty concerned.
Yeah,
Because
well-
you picked up the virus in
in
quarantine.
the hotel.
But
I
it's
guess that's why they test on day 3 and day 10
Yeah,
to make
it's
sure it's not in the hotel.
very effective though, like the quarantine. But I mean, then it got obviously bumbled up in Victoria
Yeah,
because of
but
security guard.
out of
Oh.
how many that are successful in
Yeah.
hotels, the ones that aren't successful, it's not really there's no comparison. Everyone just goes the quarantine in hotels isn't working because there's been some cases that have come from it. It's like, yeah, but there's also hundreds of thousands of people that have been quarantined in hotels that didn't get it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like,
pretty effective.
I mean, it just takes one person to stuff it up. Like, it's
That's
like in
right, yeah.
Jenga. Like, you pull out one
Literally.
thing, the whole thing goes down, you gotta restart.
Yeah, that's right.
COVID is like Jenga.
Yeah.
Heard it here first.
Patrick
That's all it is.
2020.
Yeah. I mean, I thought of that.
2021. Shite.
Jesus Christ.
Hang on, it turned 2021, so all our problems in 2020 are gone. There's no coronavirus anymore because it's like a new year. 2020 sucks, and it's 2021. That's fine. Everything's back to normal. I mean, that's what the Instagram thought.
That's a cut.
I've had this theory that
That just
guys,
broke our race and
No.
our gender.
guys think
Two,
that,
one.
think that if they say instead of just it's not
It's not offensive.
sexist.
Right?
It's
Exactly.
really.
It's
Pat,
the same
watch your
thing. Like
I know.
just had a
Two,
two,
one.
Oh well, leave it in so it's a lesson for everyone.
No, we're not leaving
Saying-
that in.
No.
Saying is the same as just saying.
Just bleep all.
Yeah. Saying beep.
They're gonna think you said the N word.
But it's okay. Because we didn't.
Yeah.
Liam, what do you think about anti-vaxxers? Because obviously in the current climate, they are more important than usual, I guess.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. You kind of hope that there's so few that enough people will just get the vaccine anyways, that the morons will get protected by herd immunity. But like, I mean, you can try and force them to just get the vaccine, I guess, but then they're just gonna like flip out and just be like, the government's trying to control you all. It's just like a lot of it comes down to the way social media algorithms can push you further and further down these like extremist rabbit holes. Because as soon as you start seeing that sort of like, I mean, you guys know Kyrie Irving. He used to think the Earth was
It's
flat
flat,
because of like, I think he said it was YouTube. Did it
Yeah.
or something.
Like you legitimately thought it was
Yeah.
flat?
Because you start seeing that content, and then more and more of it gets funneled your way, and it's all you're surrounded by.
Right. Have you seen the Social Dilemma on
Yeah,
Netflix? That was awesome. I
yeah,
love
it was
that.
pretty good. I mean, a lot of it
The Earth
was
is flat.
a lot of
Why
it
is
was very
it
anecdotal.
bars
But
Pat, the Earth isn't flat.
that was what. That's like the thing.
look, there's a lot of ways you can debunk the Earth being flat.
Just like
You
Common
would think
sense.
they would know by now.
But it's your eyes playing tricks on you. Because your eyes are spherical.
I mean, people thought Australia was fake. For a while.
Yeah. No, people still think it is.
Yeah, that was fun.
We're apparently in Argentina. Paid actors in
You
Argentina.
know, we could be. Like, you never know. We actually could be.
Oh, God.
How do we actually know that we're in Australia?
Yeah, how do we know?
Truman Show.
How do we know we're not like kids of actors? How do we know that our parents aren't actors either? But like,
Because I tell you, my parents would be pretty shit actors.
no,
So
but
my
they're
mum's
doing
not.
a
no.
good
What if
job.
we're like seventh? So I'm like seventh generation Australian. What if I'm just a seventh generation actor? And the convicts were actors. They had kids. Didn't tell the kids.
Do you reckon in
So you're
Like,
saying that
do
my
you
parents
reckon-
don't love me?
I reckon. Yes. Do you reckon Donald Trump
Yeah.
isn't real? He's just playing on like our TVs in Australia, and like all the stuff that's happening around the world is just fake. It's just happening in a news
No, it's
studio
just-
for us.
No, it's just.
We're
To
going
see
even
what we
further
do.
out. We're in a simulation.
That is very likely.
No, it's just like The Simpsons just tell us what happens.
Have you guys heard simulation theory?
Just
Yeah.
like you want to.
No.
You want to
Please
see the
don't.
future.
Right, so the theory, it's basically, you think about the first video games back in like 70s and 80s, the most advanced game was Pong.
Yeah.
Which is two lines hitting a ball
Yeah,
across.
yeah.
Or then you get to like Tetris, and
Yeah.
that was pretty high tech, and it's just blocks. And then now you have COD, and
Like VR and
Siege,
shit.
and VR, and it's looking incredibly realistic.
I'm so proud.
So the idea is, in 1,000 years, what's to say the games wouldn't get so complicated that they began to mirror reality so closely that the two weren't distinguishable?
Like,
And then what if those simulations, inside their realities, they could have had their own simulations to the point where there's an uncountable number of simulations going on. And then what's the likelihood that we're the only real reality?
Okay, my
Why?
head hurts.
It's most likely that we are just one of those simulations.
it's
It
like
doesn't
now.
change anything. Yeah, it doesn't change anything about the reality of the world.
So you reckon there's someone like I'm playing a character of someone
Yeah.
else?
In a way,
Yeah.
yeah. Or you're within
your
a
decisions
video game,
are their
or you're
decisions.
within some sort of simulation.
Yeah.
So what you can say is there's kind of
Nah.
there's a couple of different things that could happen. One, in 1,000 years' time, humans are extinct as a result of our own actions. That could be climate change or a nuclear war, whatever. It's possible that we kill ourselves before we get to the year 3000. I think we all know that. Second option,
Possible, if not probable.
if not probable. Second option, we begin to develop that technology, that simulation technology, but then realize that it might be dangerous or harmful and decide to stay away from it.
Mm.
Or the third option is, in 1,000 years, we're still here, we continue to develop that technology, and that would mean that the likelihood of us being the one authentic reality as opposed to one of the uncountable infinite number of simulations is extremely slim.
It's like, have you seen that Rick and Morty episode where like they're in like the
My
space
head's
arcade
5 minutes.
and
It's like,
like Rick goes to play as the guy and he's in his childhood, he grows up, gets a
Oh,
job,
yeah,
gets
yeah,
a
sort of
child.
Roy, yeah.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, Joey died at age what? He only made it to year 83.
Yeah, so have you watched it?
You know.
If you haven't,
I think I watched it with you.
you watched a bit of Rick and Morty with me, but it might have not been that same episode.
Oh.
Basically, Rick goes to outer space and they play some game where
Yeah.
you get absorbed into, and you literally live like 70 years at the same pace, but it happens in 2
In
minutes.
2 minutes, yeah.
Whoa.
And then you'll finish the game and it'll be
You
like,
know how cool that would be?
and then you come off and then you're just, and the point of the game is just to be as interesting as you can.
Yeah,
So like,
and, like, go
Morty
through-
becomes
yeah.
like a bookkeeper and
Yeah,
he gets out and they're all
librarian.
just like, or works at like a
Yeah.
carpet store.
Yeah.
And it's like, why the fuck did you work at a carpet store, get cancer, survive, and then just go back to
Yeah,
the
the
carpet store?
yeah.
Why wouldn't you do something interesting? And then like Rick goes and plays it and goes off the grid.
Yeah.
No, but that'd be so cool because you
Have
know that
multiple
you can take
things.
unlimited risks.
Yeah, well, that's the point of the game. It would be kind
Yeah.
of cool, but that's playing on that idea
It's a
that we
simulation.
could have a simulation which mirrors reality to such a point where you don't even know.
Which is
But imagine how far we'd advance as a race if we could take endless risks without any consequences.
Yeah.
Like, that could go horribly wrong. Like, can you imagine, like, extremists having that kind of simulation? Like, let's try this in this spot at this time and see how many people we kill.
compared
It's
to
not
this time,
enough.
this time.
And so we'll try it the next day and it's more, and they come back and do the exact same thing.
I mean, I saw some like dystopian video. I'm pretty sure actually it does happen. I hope I'm not wrong here because if I am, it's a bit
So I'm wrong with
bit
this.
funny. But some of the drones that the US uses are like remote controlled, and they just get like people who play video games to go and operate these
Yeah.
drones. And these kids are just like, not kids,
Yeah,
these
yeah,
people are just like gamers who then get asked to just shoot Syrian villages.
No, I've definitely
drones.
seen that. It's like, I know
so
this is
detached,
like
you know?
pretend, but you know, like the movie Pixel or Pixels.
Pixels,
Yeah.
I love them.
That's such a good movie, but it's the same idea. It's like getting hardcore gamers to control like high-tech weaponry and stuff.
I suck at video
And but it's true. Like, gamers are pretty talented, but it's a different kind of talented, you know.
This is making me
Especially
think of
muscle
some.
memory.
This is making me think of some like short story I saw, which is fucking giving me absolute chills. I'm pretty sure we watched it in English. It's like highly dystopian, playing on that sort of thing. So these gamers become so addicted to virtual reality games, they just sit there and play for like 10 hours a day. Don't have a job.
That Ready Player One movie.
No, it
You've
wasn't a
seen it?
movie.
No.
I haven't seen it, but it's just like a 9. That might be the same thing. I'm not sure. It's like a 9-minute skit, and then towards the end, you find out that they're actually like the game they're playing. It's not just a game; they're controlling like robot soldiers in real life, and
And
they're
they
just
don't know
detached, just like shooting like Middle Eastern children, and they don't realize that until like they try to like snap out of it, and then they get killed by one of the robots or something. I wish I could find what it's called because it was very profound. The video, it was quite well made, but it's trippy.
Yeah.
At the end of it, I was like, oh, that's really weird.
It's
What,
weird
is
to
Ready
think
Player
about.
One like a similar thing?
Ready Player One's like,
It's more like the
it's
simulation.
like it's like this oasis, and you like go into there and you like be the perfect character, whoever you want to be, and you just live your life in there.
Right.
And it's quite a funky movie. I like it.
Do you guys know Cyberpunk?
I know, like the game.
The game,
I haven't
yeah.
played it.
I know of it.
I know of it as well. I haven't actually played it, but I'm pretty sure the concept of that is, again, I could be completely
It's a similar
wrong.
thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the idea, because I watched some in a nutshell video, it was like you upload. What if you could upload your conscience into like a different, like almost upload your conscience onto the internet, but the internet was like a different realm, and then you would control someone in that different reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it to really know what the fuck I'm talking about, but it also looks really trippy. But I think they put a lot of effort into that game, but then apparently it just sucked.
It flopped,
It was.
It didn't flop. It was
doesn't
just
look
so
great.
bugged because they made it for next gen consoles.
Yeah.
So if you play it on a PS4 or an Xbox One,
It's just like messed.
you need a Series X or a PS5. But they will fix it, and they put so much effort into the game that they're going to get the bugs out. But it'll be a half a year or so. It'll be a pretty cool game, I think. It was really hyped though.
Oh,
and
for
the main
sure.
the
I
main
remember
thing
when it
I
was
heard
coming
from
out.
my friends is that there's a gay porn scene.
Nice.
That's all I heard. You can like, you literally watch like not robots, but like these people having sex, and my friends are like, I accidentally clicked Alex. I didn't know if Alex was a guy or a girl. And just start fucking the two guys, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm cool with that.
And that's is that a video game?
Huh?
Is that a video
Yeah, I
game?
mean, if you play GTA,
No, I haven't played GTA.
there's
I don't
bare ass titties in that game.
Right.
All right, let's steer
Where
away
did
from
that
that.
come from? That's what I'm saying. It just went
Right.
off-road very
New
quickly.
topic.
It went off-road very quickly.
You know, like Karen is like complaining to the manager. What's
Yes.
the name for the anti-vaxxers? Like
Karen.
Is Karen anti-vax as well?
Yeah, Karen's everything.
Karen's just
Karen's-
everyone that kind of has a problem with everything. And
Karen's-
That's most
anti-vaxxers.
people on this one.
No, Karen's
Uh,
anti-vax, hates
Vegan.
black people.
Yeah.
Probably not vegan.
20 minutes is up, pal.
Yeah, that's right. I'm watching it on here. It's just because we have to restart that camera before it gets to 29 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're at 19 point something. So
Swag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Karen's just
Karen.
moronic 40-year-old.
there's a lot more
Sorry,
in the
Ross.
world than you would think.
Mm.
Like, it's crazy how many people I get at work that are just like, they just complain about everything. And it's like,
Now, I work at
I know.
Beep. He's $11.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, trust me, mate. I know as well.
You gotta cut that as well. We're not say that we're at work.
I know. I was going to cut that.
What are
out.
you meant to say?
Oh,
what?
it's just like,
It'll be part of your contract.
yeah, my contract, it's like, you're not allowed to,
It's like we're not allowed to say where we go to school.
yeah.
Is that so you can't shit talk like
No,
the way they treat employees?
no. So
Yeah, I think so.
it's like if I have an interview with someone that's about like young employees or something, and I say these things, and then there's also this video of me saying, "Oh, beep beep," and that's bad, man.
No, I'm kind of interested in that though. Just like
Let's talk about it after.
the kind of we can just bleep out.
Yeah.
No, you can't leave out. You just leave out the whole thing.
Okay.
No, but I'm interested.
Let's just start fresh now and
Okay.
just leave it.
No, like, can a company tell their employees that they can't talk about their own work? Because that kind of seems...
Of course.
Yes, but
It's
that
undemocratic.
seems very...
Yeah,
It's
control.
very easy for there to then be problematic work conditions.
Workplace.
Yeah,
issues,
like...
yeah.
No, but
What if,
It's like only if it's like
it's part of your
online.
contract. So most places that, especially that have to deal with people,
Stay in your seat.
most people that, like most places that especially deal with people, will have it on their contract when you first sign up that you can't publicly disclose any information that happens.
Which company
Inside.
doesn't deal with people?
Like people, places that make clothes and stuff like that.
Or
you
if
know,
you just
like
work as, like,
factories.
Oh,
if you just
right.
work as, like, a labourer,
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
that's
not
right.
having
You're not
to interact
working
with people.
directly with people.
it's only hospitality and retail.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
But you can. It just means that if you breach that, you can get like that's probable cause to get.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. No,
So you can still go and. What's he going?
Yo!
Mine.
Mine's red too.
I thought you were going to say it's brown. Like, I'm going to get that checked out.
I'm gonna check out from the red.
Really true.
Mate!
True.
We're talking about this, then brown.
Talking about
Nah,
bullshit.
that's really bad.
Oh yeah, funny story from today. So we're down getting a Monster at the local shops near my place. Anyway, there's this young fella serving. How old do you reckon he was?
20.
He was a bit of a.
It's like in
Hold on,
He was
let
like
me
a
look
very
up-
quiet.
Let me
looking
look up what
guy.
it actually is, and then keep talking.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, we're buying Monsters and we pay for everything, and then we're walking out. And Liam, I didn't hear exactly what he said. Did he read something off the label of the Monster
It's like
can?
ginseng.
Yeah,
Really
and he
funny,
goes, you know that's bull semen?
And
I was like- I was like, what? And he goes, it's bull semen. I go, what is? And he goes, you know, like a bull's cum.
No, come from.
Come.
I looked the cashier dead in the eyes, and I'm just like come from a bull.
old mate just shut himself.
Yeah,
Almost
Yeah,
dead
he-
face, didn't even smile. It's just like,
yeah. I was like,
Head down.
oh, I kind of found that funny. Oh, I'm never gonna come again. Fuck it. Well, I probably will, but
I'm gonna have to bleep that you just said that.
yeah, true. So it's taurine. There's
Taurine.
rumors that taurine has an extract from bull semen. So I'm pretty sure it's a rumor, but
Does that mean you get bull testosterone?
Hitler used to take bull semen.
Like as shots? Just
I don't know how he
Probably
Something
injected
like
it into his blood,
Yeah,
so you get the testosterone straight.
yeah. No, Hitler took a lot of shit, man. I mean, he was a weird guy for other reasons,
wonder why.
but he was a drug addict, which
They were
You know.
probably linked.
kind of makes him
I would say. I'd
Yeah.
say the drug addictions were probably linked to the
Yeah.
other circumstances he was put in.
he was a bad person because he took drugs. No other reason.
That is a joke. Liam does not mean
Hitler
that.
was a bad person. He was just bad.
We're not talking about Hitler.
I'm not a neo-Nazi. Far from it.
This is what's so
Let
horrible.
me clarify for the record.
We've got bull semen down
We're on the record.
in about 20 seconds.
You know what was funny though?
Yeah.
You were like before. You were like, I don't know, like, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? And we're like, we'll just talk. And you're like, yeah, but it's going to be awkward. We sit down. We start talking about something, right? I can't remember. I started talking about how long it's been since I posted. Now we're talking about Hitler taking bulls. Like we had
Much
no
less
plans.
Me
for this.
clarifying how Hitler is in fact a bad person.
We do
Don't
not
get it
support
misconstrued.
any of the events that happened, anything to do with Hitler.
We support the 3 shots in the bunker, though.
Was it 3? How do you shoot yourself 3 times?
I don't know. Well,
He actually faked his own death. He ran after.
Do you want to know something really sus?
Tell me.
About to get political. So
Again?
Here we go.
So the war. So you got the war on drugs. Started in maybe the 60s or 70s. It peaked in the 80s with the crack epidemic.
Mm.
A lot of minority communities, black communities, became very heavily affected by the usage of crack cocaine.
Yeah.
It was later found out by
That it was the CIA that
that it was
injected it into the
the
system.
CIA that dropped it in. Oliver North. They used drug trafficking from Nicaragua to fund their war, their illegal activities in Nicaragua, where they were trying to topple a left-wing government. The CIA was trying to topple a left-wing government, and yeah, they did that. They funded that campaign in part by selling cheap cocaine to drug dealers who were in black communities in Miami and in Los Angeles. Now, I'm struck for his name, but there was an investigative journalist that broke this whole story. He did a year or two long investigation where he basically broke the fact that the CIA that the CIA had been pumping drugs into black communities, and then heavily criminalizing the usage of those drugs in an effort to disrupt those black communities. And then the guy who broke that story killed himself by shooting himself in the head twice, which is kind of sus.
Why would you kill yourself?
The police were like, "Yep, definitely looks like suicide to me," and everyone was like, "How the fuck do you shoot yourself twice? What?"
That's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
two guns? Boom.
Yeah, I guess, but that's unlikely.
Why
The
would you
point
have
is, it
two
was a
guns?
sus-
If you're going to kill yourself, you know that one bullet's going to do it.
It's controversial. It was a controversial
double
death.
check.
So why did he commit suicide?
It was a well.
Ask him, Matt.
Well,
No,
he might,
what Liam's saying is that
it's a bit of a conspiracy, but they're saying that he
it
might
could
have.
be linked to
Oh,
CIA
yeah.
because
CIA
he
might have
busted
killed
the
him.
CIA about it.
But then also, he might have killed himself just because the amount of
Pressure on him.
Really got death threats. and
pressure,
everything.
he
Yeah,
got death
he would
threats.
have got a lot of
He
stuff
would have
put
been
on him.
constantly worried about the CIA, even if they
What's
didn't.
Julian Assange
Alright, hang on.
doing?
Just wait, pause.
Julian Assange.
Hang on, stop, pause. Matt, don't move. Matt, don't move.
And we're back.
I know they were trying to get Trump to pardon Julian Assange, but I don't think he did. I remember he said that he was like, "I'll look into it," but he kind of says that about everything. When a reporter asked him if he was going to do it, I don't think he
Build a
knew.
wall.
I don't think he even knew what he was. Oh, they kind of started, but
They just
I don't
reinforce
even-
what's already there.
yeah, I don't even think he fucking knew who Julian Assange was. So he was
Yeah, he's just like, I'll look
he
into
was
it.
like, yeah, me and my team, we're looking at it. We'll look at it. And
Yeah. That's smart though. There's people that don't know how to ever talk to press, and I feel like Donald Trump had no idea how to talk to press when he got in. And then someone sat him down and was like, "Look, if you don't know what something means, just say I'm looking into it. Like, we're sorting it out."
Yeah, but then got a bit dangerous because he was like, "We're looking into the use of injecting bleach."
Jesus.
What the fuck, Donnie?
Could have been a good idea. He
No,
probably
he
knows
actually
from personal experience.
Yeah.
No, didn't that lady do it?
I
I'm not sure.
don't know.
Did
Yeah.
she drink like fish tank cleaner or something?
Drink it.
You
Yeah.
think that would kill you?
You'd think so.
Or it did.
Who's? Oh, I'm trying to remember what. It might have been Bill. I don't know. Some comedian. I was watching some special, and he was.
You're gonna say Bill Cosby?
No, Bill Burr. I was gonna say Bill Burr.
We both thought the same thing. I thought you were going to say it and then realised what you were going to say. And I was like,
No. So, yeah, he was doing this special talking about democracy and just how many people are stupid. He was like, what I think we should do is, all of the bleach bottles, if you want to have a democracy, all of the bleach bottles, take off the do not drink signs, eradicate the motherfuckers who drink the bleach, and then you can have a democracy minus the total fuckwits.
Good, a fair point.
that's true.
Yeah, anyways.
Comedians always have the best ideas, you know.
Jim Jeffries with the
It might have been Jim
line.
Jeffries, actually.
Like with the joke.
He was
Yeah.
Jim Jeffries, I think it would have been Bill Burr. Because we watched a bunch of Bill Burr stuff one time.
Yeah, we did. Bill Burr's funny.
Yeah, he's funny as.
Fine. You didn't find it funny about taking the label off of bleach. Whatever, moving on.
I just don't know who Bill
Guess we'll
Burr
just
is.
go crying. at
Bill
home.
Burr, he's the bald, ranger, fat guy.
How was he bald
Same.
and ranger?
He has a beard.
Who's this?
Bill Burr.
Sporting ring.
Not a complete beard.
Yeah,
He has facial hair.
Oh, I know who that is. I think
He's like,
he's hit.
he's from like Boston and he's got a
Yeah.
real thick accent.
He was in Mandalorian.
I haven't actually seen all of that. I watched like an episode.
I haven't been catching up. I watched like half of season 2 or wherever it got up to like 6 weeks ago, and then just haven't.
I'm sure it was good, but I started watching it during school and I just don't have that much time.
I know
And also
what's
in the boarding house, you're always doing something. I'm not often just there, just watching. TV.
Yeah.
Throughout
Imagine.
last year, I was watching Gossip Girl. Don't judge me. Okay, stop. Well, I was watching Gossip Girl.
You didn't have to tell us. You could have kept that to yourself.
I mean, it's
No,
a
I mean
good
just the now. I wanted to keep going.
Oh, what was the other one I was watching? Damn it! Some other TV show, right? And- No, it
Pretty
wasn't
Little
Vampire
Liars.
Diaries.
Riverdale.
Nah, that sucks.
That sucks. Gossip Girl.
Gossip Girl's like,
Mwah.
no, but it's like it's like keeps you on the edge of your seat, right? Like
Gossip
you can't
Girl
just
does?
watch. Yeah, you can't watch one episode. You have to watch the next one because it's like.
You know what I've been binge watching?
What?
Ballers.
Is that good? 'Cause
That's
that's what I was-
so good.
This is where I was going with that.
I
I need to
remember
find
you-
another thing to binge watch and just keep
I remember you
watching.
showing us that in Woodwork.
Oh, it's so good. I love it.
Right.
I don't know why I love it so much. I don't know why.
I know why you love it.
I
so
think I
much.
know
It's strange, isn't it?
No, there hasn't been stuff like that since like the first season.
I reckon you can tell us which episode at which minute.
No, I can't.
I remember Ben.
But
Ben
season
knows all
one-
the scenes from Suits.
From Suits, he
Remember
does, he
that?
does.
I don't even think he's watched Suits.
No, he's just Googled it.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's
He,
so
Ben
funny.
would have
Happy
no
birthday,
interest in
The
Suits.
day this was filmed.
It's Ben's birthday, yeah. Happy birthday, Ben. Love you, Ben.
I love you, Ben.
Worst podcast episode we've ever done was with Ben, for sure.
Did he take his pants off like multiple times?
Oh, I don't know.
That was good.
Oh yeah. In front of the what's that?
I mean, I have a video on my phone somewhere of when I was at...
Oh my god.
Nathan, we're filming a podcast. Go away.
Hey kids. Ben, I can't wait.
You got a blue tap, he's got.
I hate 10-year-olds. This guy just runs
Shoot
in with
me,
a
I dare you.
Nerf gun. And just...
Nathan, go away!
What even are 10-year-olds, man? What are they on?
Kids. You love it.
Yeah, do you know, like,
What goes through his head when he's just like, I'm gonna bust into this room with a Nerf gun, threaten them?
Yeah, no, do you know what's even more funny?
What?
What goes through a 10-year-old's head when they think, you know what? There's 4 teenagers in that room and they're going to think that's so funny. Like, they're really going to get a kick out of this one.
Yeah, they're gonna just think I'm so cool.
Yeah. They're going to wonder why I don't have any friends over.
I remember when I was like 6 and my sister's... I remember when I was like 6 and my sister's friend was like 9 and I was sharing a room with my sister. I used to just get changed in front of all of them. Because I was like 6, I just didn't care. So I just pulled my pants down in front of Chelsea's friends. And Chelsea would be like, Lem! Stop! And I'm just there, just like, what? My pants around my
helicopter.
No, I
But only a little
just mean
helicopter.
kids just have no social
Like a drone.
awareness.
Just a propeller at the back.
They're just like, yeah, I can get changed in front of my sister's friends. Like,
It's crazy to think that, though. Like, as you grow older, how much your conscious
And your
changes.
decision making.
Like, exactly.
Like just
They say, you know how they say that men's decision making doesn't
develop to
develop
like
to
20.
28 or
Yeah.
something?
yeah.
It's like,
Probably true.
considering how much our decision making has developed, think about how smart we're going to be at 28.
Just
Yeah, well, I'm sure it plateaus, though.
No, I'm going to be smart at 28.
but
no,
just,
like, you're smart now. My point is...
Yes!
I'm
smart now!
Yes!
I'm sure the development of your brain is just... It plateaus. We're
Yeah.
probably, like, here. And it's only got that much to go.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
there.
sure, that's
I'm like,
It wouldn't... That's
Between-
bro science.
between,
but I don't
like,
even know what I'm talking about.
10 and 18, I'm sure it does a lot. But it
Yeah.
also probably goes down.
But then
when
between
you get to
18 and 26,
16.
probably not
I
that.
think I'm in my down slump right
Mate, you just haven't started going up yet.
now. Yeah, it's true. I'm at rock bottom, can't get any worse. So
Yeah,
That's what they say. Pat's riding my little brother's bike, which is too small for my little brother who is 10. Pat's riding it down the main street, like
Middle of the road.
in the middle of the
No
road,
helmet.
and no helmet. He's like turning, he's sticking his arm out, like I'm turning.
Nathan's a big ass 10-year-old though.
Kick
He's
1.5
fat.
meters.
He's getting fat, isn't he?
Like
Oh,
his
I'm
brother.
not going to comment on your
He
brother's
is.
weight.
He is. He's getting fat, isn't he?
I think he's
No.
tall.
And like, no, he is. He's
Okay.
getting chubby, and no, because I am not the skinniest, and I have previously in my life been quite large. So
We're
I am
talking
saying
triple
this,
figures.
We're talking year
like
7.
triple figures.
We're talking like your phone number comes up on the screen.
Quite literally. So I'm
No,
not
it's
trying to be
crap.
mean to my little brother, but I'm actually trying to help
Constructive
him.
feedback.
That's right. I'm trying to be like, look, mate, you have the opportunity to really just turn this around in like a month, or you can keep going, get addicted to food, and then.
Well, then do it. Turn.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, but you also got to be careful because, like, I mean, 10-year-olds can get, like, eating disorders.
I know that. I don't think he's going to get an eating disorder.
Yeah, right.
He eats like a champ.
Wow.
Actually, he doesn't eat nearly as much as I used to. He just doesn't do any exercise. He's a lazy piece of shit. Just sits at home all day. He's addicted to his iPad. You know, because our school, you have to have an iPad in year 3 now.
Oh, is it year 3?
What?
Jeez.
No,
Actually, I
is
knew
it
that.
year
Yeah, I think it's year 3 actually.
Year 3. So he's had an iPad since year 3, and I'll tell you what, it's the worst thing that our school has ever done, I reckon. Because we got it in year
Design
5.
their uniform.
No. We
Yeah,
got it in year
that's
5,
that's
and we got hooked on our iPads, and we'd play it in class and do all that shit. Like, all the time. Minecraft year 5, Agario year 6, like, we'd just play it every second, and we'd spend more time double tapping our iPads to change it than we would doing our schoolwork.
Building that.
But Nathan will sit in his room for hours and hours and hours, just watch YouTube or, like, play on his iPad.
That's why I'm
And
glad.
he'll chuck a fit if he's not allowed to.
That's why I'm glad. Sorry, Paddy. We grew up when we did.
Yeah.
Being born 2004, 2005.
Yeah.
It was that sort of year where, from like
We
1
went
to like
we
3 to
grew
7
up.
or
We
8.
grew up with the technology.
Well, yes,
But not
then,
to the same extent.
exactly
that
where
Right.
we can still have enjoyment playing with your trains or like you
Exactly,
know
yeah.
your whatever.
Yeah, like I
like,
still play
your
Lego.
imagination.
But
Like
how
when
many
I was
kids-
Nathan's age,
And,
I
we,
was
had,
still
and we
like
still had pretty shitty TV shows when we
Yeah.
were growing up.
Ah,
You know?
shitty. That was so
But
good.
Thomas the Tank Engine wasn't that crash hot.
That was so good.
When-
No, it was good.
Prank
It was good.
Control.
I loved it.
Woo!
no,
I loved
like
it, but it
when
was
like
still average, and everything about
Oh,
it,
yeah.
like the editing, the footage, like their expectations of what technology should be are so much higher than ours. Like,
yeah, like
I get amazing. I bought this new camera off a friend recently, and I swear to God, I spent a day just staring at it, going through all the stuff. Like, this is really cool stuff. Like, it's just got some really cool things about it. Whereas Nathan would look at it and go, "My iPad's got just as good a camera as that." It's like, shut up.
But it's just like, you know, when we're first getting phones,
Yeah,
they weren't the best phones, but they weren't the worst phones. So they're like
that's right.
practical for our age. But then when you see people like 12, 13 have iPhone 11s,
Yeah, like I got
Nathan's getting an
I got an
X.
iPhone 4 when
What?
I got an iPhone
Mum's
4 when I
on.
was in like year 6 because I used to have to wait at footy
Yeah.
and I needed to be able to call
exactly.
my mum. Like,
Exactly.
Well, when
But-
my
but I
dad,
never
my dad
used it.
moved away in year 6, so I got like a phone at the end of year 6, so I
Yeah.
could talk to my dad, and I never played any games, and I never did
Yeah.
anything.
yeah, I can never use
Because
it.
one, the screen was about as big as your Apple Watch.
Yeah,
Two, you know,
Just didn't
we
really
had,
care.
we had
Yeah.
other, better,
that's right.
more fun things to do. You know?
That's right.
Like,
yeah.
how many kids... Like, I know a few do, but... I used to play a lot of Lego when I was...
Yeah.
Oh,
When I was...
absolutely.
Up until I was like 8.
Yeah.
Up until I was like
There's
12.
no way 6-year-olds should have an iPad. Like,
Yeah,
There's
I know.
no shot.
obviously, the year 3s are 8, but still, even 3
Yeah.
till I was 11, maybe 10 or
Yeah.
11.
There's
I
people
was,
in our year still
I would
doing
still
like-
get enjoyment.
like hardcore Lego.
Oh,
I was still getting
100%.
enjoyment out of like doing shit with my hands, and I was still
Hang on a second.
no like building things with my hands.
That's better.
I would
no, it's
go
the
out.
same with me, but I can sit down now, like, obviously I'm not going to build, like, tiny little Lego things, but if, like, even up until 2 years ago, I'd get my dad for Christmas to buy me, like, a big Star Wars
You
Lego,
get, your
because,
dad, you get your dad for Christmas.
yeah, I get my dad for
Because
Christmas.
he'd come back.
That's not
Sorry.
nice.
No,
but-
bleep that out. Bleep that out.
No, That's
No,
the
he's
thing,
kidding.
that-
No,
that's
no,
just-
no.
He's not gonna
Chat,
like
I'm
that.
joking. No, just no.
But you
It's
know
a
what I
joke,
mean?
Trent.
Like I'd sit
Don't
down
beat me up.
for a couple of days and just build Lego, and I'd get so much enjoyment out of it. Like stick my earphones in, listen to music, and
Yeah.
build Lego.
I feel like a lot of kids our age would have had it too much as a kid, but I grew up with parents who were like so concerned about the use of technology
Oh, same.
and kids being overrun by it.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's just
It's sort of social norms.
And I feel
So-
bad
social
because I
norm.
know that it's partly my fault that Nathan's allowed to do it because of the amount of hours that I complained that I wasn't allowed to play on my iPad or anything. But now I look back and I'm so glad that my parents would say, no, go down to the park and kick the footy with your dad, or do something like that, because now I'll go to Nathan, and now that we've moved back into here, he's always keen to go in the pool or whatever, which is awesome. But if I said, do you want to come down and kick the footy or shoot basketball hoops, he'd be like, nah, I'm not good at it, so I don't want to. It's like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
Like-
The other. Where was I going with that? Really blanked out there. No, it's just the effect that it can have on your attention span, the ability to focus.
100%.
And hold the conversation.
No psychologist. Hold a conversation. Your social awareness. If every time you're uncomfortable, even kids our age, if every time you're uncomfortable you have to go meet new people, or you're in a space, say you're training with a new team, you got to meet a whole new group of people, working somewhere. If you just go on your phone and that's like how you can act like you're doing something, it completely hinders your ability to develop just social skills.
Yeah,
So,
completely.
really.
Yeah.
And now you've got kids a lot of the time when adults come over. Like I would always, if we went to someone's house, my parents went somewhere, if my parents had friends over,
Right,
I'd
you
always
hang out
have
with the
to talk
adults.
to them. Would always
100%.
have to talk, hold a conversation with the adults. A lot of kids now, if my mum's and my dad's friends come over and they've got kids who are 7 or 8, they're on their iPads. They don't develop the ability to talk to parents. And this isn't, a lot of kids our age would have grown up the same way, but then we also had parents who were concerned about it. Whereas now, as Max
Because
said,
there's a
it's
new
just
thing.
so normalised. And I'm no... Patty has genuine ADHD. I'm no psychologist, but I feel like a lot of people might get ADHD now because of how much time they spend on iPads.
Because they have to be doing something, not just
Even
listening.
with social media. Like, I was talking to my brother about this a couple of years ago. The effect that it can have on your brain, having constant access to information whenever you want it. It's such a quick hit of dopamine for your brain, just to be able to go there, get hyper-stimulated on your phone or on your iPad if you're playing a game. So, we know at any time that we've got access to instant dopamine, to instant information. So there's no need for us to pay attention to anything else, really. And I feel like as a result, a lot of kids can't pay attention in class because their brains have been primed to get something exactly when they want it and get that instant information, so they can't sit there and wait and listen. But then again, what the fuck do we know? We're just talking off of what we see.
Yeah, but at the same time, people that are professionals, like psychologists, stuff like that, they've seen a lot. But in reality, we all have many friends, we have siblings, we have all that. We do have a lot of knowledge, general experience knowledge of what's going on around us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure
You know what I mean?
psychologists are worried about it as well.
Yeah, no, 100%, that's not what I'm saying, but do you know what I mean? We do, we're not
there's
qualified,
there's something
but we
to be
still
said
know
about
a lot.
first-hand experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I often think about the flip side of what Liam was saying, if you or what we were saying before about childhood technology. Now, if we didn't have a phone, instant access to messages, what you would be doing with yourself. Even if that would be at home doing something you love, sport or something.
Yeah.
But how would you, you messaging me last night saying, would you want to come over? How would you sort of have those social connections with your friends other than...
Everything's so easy.
Well, I remember, I mean, there is that to be said, definitely when you don't live near people, but I remember when I used to have mates in Qatar, the way it works, you've got houses inside of a compound, just because it's the Middle East, people are kind of afraid, so there's always armed guards patrolling, and all the houses are kept within walls.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of kids on the compound, so I would just go and rock up to my mate's house and just be like, "Fuck it, I'm here." Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine just turning up to your friend's house now and just being like, "I'm here."
Yeah.
I don't
There's
care what
only
you're
a
doing.
select.
We're gonna hang out.
There's only a select few of people, and I know for sure that I could rock up at Pat's house, and if he was there, he'd like let me in. Same with you, and same with you.
Yeah.
You
But
just
other
come
than
in
that-
anyway.
yeah,
You
exactly,
open the
exactly.
door. You just walk in.
Yeah,
All my
and
mates
if,
be like,
if no
"Yeah,
one's
hey,
out,
Ollie."
exactly, and I know that for pretty much all of you that. But there's only a select few of people that I would comfortably rock up to their house and be like, "Hey, can I just
Yeah.
crash here the night or
Yeah.
whatever?" Otherwise, you know.
Yeah,
Mm.
but I mean, yeah, this it's definitely. I like having it. I like being
Yeah.
able to
Yeah.
share it with my friends.
Not complaining about
Yeah, I'm not complaining. But you're right. I don't think year 3 is an appropriate age for a kid.
Definitely.
Yeah.
it. It's the decision making thing, you know. Like Nathan last night, for example, he was like he wanted to play a game with me, like he wanted to play a multiplayer game with me, and I said that I'd do it, and then like I said during the day that I'd do it later tonight, and then it got to later tonight, and I was like, "Look, man, I'm so tired. I just want to lie down in the lounge and watch some TV." And he'd come back every like 2 minutes, swear to God, and be like, "Can we play now? Can we play now? Can we play now? Can I go update the game on your iPad so that we can play later? Can we play now? Can we play?" And I'm like, "Why don't you just sit down with your mum and I and like watch TV?"
But it's just like what Liam was saying about the sort of social media rabbit hole sort of thing, like with the targeted ads and all that. And when it starts at a younger age, you can sort of force things easier on a younger child.
Kids are so impressionable.
Yeah.
That's why I worry. I kind of mentioned it to Ollie last night because we were saying we might
Oh, yeah,
film something. It's called the alt-right pipeline. So alt-right means kind of a new strain of conservatism, a new strain of right-wing politics. That's pretty scary. Not very mainstream, but it's becoming very common, and it's very easy for kids to get sucked into it. I mean, it almost happened to me, but I've got a generally progressive family. I also just found other political thinkers who I respected that kind of pulled me out of it. But it's very common for boys who are somewhat interested in politics to get sucked down this rabbit hole. And it can start with, even, you guys know like Isaac Butterfield?
Yeah.
That can be the start of it for a lot of boys, because that's sort of like anti-SJW, anti-feminist, like, oh, feminist wrecked, feminist stupid, vegan hate. That then can just lead down this path that they can call it like the being red-pilled as well. I mean, that's a phrase people just use humorously, but then it's called like the red pill wormhole. These different content creators, as they get funneled in your direction on YouTube, you start watching the ones that don't seem that outrageous, or like you might watch like Jordan Peterson or Ben Shapiro or something, and they come across as intellectual, like sound, respected thinkers. They can then lead towards more controversial content creators who are just more and more bigoted, and then eventually you've got these 13, 14-year-olds who come all the way through, and they are sucked into this path, and it's very racist, it's very misogynistic, it's very transphobic, very homophobic. They just get funneled these bigoted views because they want to feel like, for a lot of boys, they feel very alienated by a lot of politics today. A lot, like, boys don't want to feel like the enemy, but it can feel like it can to some boys it can come across that they're
As a
targeted.
mateship type thing,
As
like a
if,
manly way to think.
as if they're like, as if they're the problem. They feel like some politics is like, oh, straight white males, like you're villains. And then they find these people that it feels like they're talking to them and connecting with them. They get sucked down this pipeline. It's very hard to explain. If you want to look into it, just look up the alt-right pipeline. There's a lot of information on it. But it's very hard to pull someone out of it. You've just got to like present to them these different ideas. Be kind with them, but they really respect like rationality. So there's some there's some thinkers that not thinkers, but just political commentators that have pulled a lot of people out of it. Like people like, I mean, for me, I didn't go very deep into it, but a guy called Kyle Kalinske I used to love when I was like 14. That like pulled me out of it, made me a very, very progressive person again. And I always kind of was, but like for me, it almost happened. For me, I almost fell down there, but a lot of
But
kids
you recognise that you were falling.
yeah,
into it.
but a lot of kids just do.
Yeah.
Especially if they don't have. Because I'm very close with my sister, and I respect the shit out of her. If I didn't have that, if I didn't have so much love for like women in my life, my sister, my mum, my elder sister, I might not have come out of that. But it's so dangerous, and it's come about because of YouTube. And it's one of the most toxic things that can happen to 14-year-olds.
And that person that we were talking about, not the...
Yeah,
So
I don't know if that's
very
happening.
big, like Isaac Butterfield fan, you know,
Yeah.
like that sort of mentality.
Yeah,
that
and
sort
that
of
concerns me. I mean, even like I thought it was gonna
Beep beep.
I don't think it did, but I thought it might have.
I mean, he doesn't think. I'm gonna bleep his name, but that person doesn't think think like that because he's not that politically minded.
That's what I mean.
But he, at the same time, he's definitely not that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, this
if
is
he
like-
was a politically minded person, he would fall down that path in a second. If I might be wrong, but that's what I think.
It used to be, when it happened to me, when I was 13, 14, it used to be these compilations on YouTube that often suck people in. They were called like feminist owned or anti-SJW. SJW means social justice warrior. So it would be SJW wrecked compilation, and it's just like blue head liberal, small L liberal. So Australia, you've got the Liberal Party, who's conservative, but liberal as an ideology means like slightly left leaning. Individual freedoms, but still capitalist. So it would be these like blue head feminists getting owned, and you'd be like, oh, look at that, they're so stupid. Haha, woman moment. And then it would suck these people in, and then they would get fed these right-wing views, like very pro-life, very anti-immigrant. And it's just so easy to do, but nowadays I think it's these different creators. Like I'm interested to see what it is that now, because it still exists, but it's different. It's a different pipe.
Yeah.
So I know it's Jordan Peterson's still there. Jordan Peterson's a very smart person, but he can also be a pseudo-intellectual when it comes to politics. He's an incredibly smart psychologist. I think his messages on self-discipline and like self-motivation, taking accountability for yourself, trying to be the best person you can be. There's definitely a lot to be said for it.
Yeah.
His opinions should definitely, they're definitely worth listening to. But then sometimes he says shit and he doesn't actually know what he's talking about, and that can be some of the dangerous stuff for impressionable kids. So you were this all started because you were talking about how impressionable kids can be, and you're completely right. That, paired with social media, has created these dangerous wormholes.
And it's sort of like making everyone sort of turn out the same. And the same views, same
or
everything.
just polarized.
Yeah.
I'm not a centrist.
It's completely divided, which I think is what is happening in America specifically. Like, completely divided.
Yeah.
Like
Never been so divided.
I'm not a centrist. I'm a leftist, which means just basically anti-capitalist.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say, like, I hate extremes, because some people would say that I was, like, a radical. But the other way, it can be very polarized, because often the people who like politics,
That's right.
the people who like politics will often just pick one of the sides, and then they'll just keep pushing further and further out. I'm hesitant to say on the left because I don't even care if people get pushed more and more to the left, because that's where I am. But the way it funnels you content is such a way where it's almost like it's going to keep trying to get like a bigger hit. So more and more controversial. Obviously, it'll come to a point where people are like, I'm not a neo-Nazi. But it can push people that far. That's the like the alt-right pipeline. If it's just a slightly conservative kid, I mean, I don't love it as a leftist. I think that they can be moved away from that, and that's not what they actually believe. But then it gets dangerous when it pushes as far as neo-Nazi, which it can. And then that's...
Especially as a young person.
Yeah.
I believe that, like, especially with Trump, obviously I'm anti-Trump and don't believe in many of the things that he believes in. But I was having dinner with someone recently that was a well-educated adult that was, like, obviously I wasn't a one-on-one dinner, just let me clear that up. But anyway, and that person was like, I'm a Trump supporter. Like, I can't remember why it came up, and started talking about stuff, and I was like, you're a well-educated Australian that can look at this and make a decision that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you're going to say that you're a die-hard Trump fan. And I'm like, I'm confused.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that anyone can make their own decisions, but you're trying to justify things to me that just aren't correct. Like, you're lying to yourself by saying this.
Yeah, that's another thing that is very common in that alt-right pipeline. It's they'll say stuff like, oh, he doesn't hold anything back, he just says it how it is. Like, he's just saying the truth, and the truth can often just be racism.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of Trump supporters, because there were a couple in Melbourne. In like, when I was in history class, the history teacher had an argument with some kid in the back who was a Trump supporter. The history teacher wasn't, the kid in the back was. And I was just sitting there with my brain just melting, occasionally just turning around, just like yelling at this kid. But he would say stuff. He would say stuff like the left-wing media and like fake news and shit. They all fully believe that everyone is lying other than them.
Yeah.
And it's an actual belief. That's what I mean. Like, I don't understand it.
It's sort of like a cult sort of thing.
It is. That's what I mean about, like, dividedness. Like, can we not just, like, meet in the middle and be like, okay, well, I agree with what you're saying about this specific thing, and I disagree about what my side is trying to say about this specific thing. Can we meet in the middle and compromise instead of being like, you're wrong, you're all fake, like, you're making this up, you're lying to us. It's like...
My opinion on that is less so about compromise. I think if you're like a progressive person, or whatever you are, say I'm a leftist and I'm trying to convince conservative people to, like, swing. I don't think you should change your message. I think you should keep your values the same. You just might have to update your vocabulary, update the way that you pose it to them in such a way that will appeal to them.
Well, it's like we had a history teacher, and he was quite enthusiastic about his political views on the American government system. And,
do you know who he said?
No.
Who's a history teacher who's very political about his views on...
G-Dog.
Oh, yeah, righto.
Yeah. Anyway...
Could have just said it and blurred.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's fine. Anyway. And it's with that thing of, like, updating your vocabulary. He was like, you've got to read, their side of things to understand it and interpret it in your way. And then that's how you...
The only way you can agree or make someone else see your way is to understand how they're seeing it.
You can't have tunnel vision.
It's
and
like
just say, this is my way, this is how it is, I'm correct.
And if you're...
Shut the fuck up and do what I say.
I know, but if like, with the Trump, I'm just going to use Trump because he has been, like, the one that has divided everyone. But you can't just go, I'm anti-Trump, I hate Trump, I don't want him in office, because then you're as bad as the people that are like, I love Trump, I only want him in office. Yes, you're maybe spreading the right message, but you're also just being closed-minded about the whole thing. If you look at it and go, actually, Trump said something smart about the economy, well done, but he's an absolute moron about everything else that he does, then you're getting somewhere, and you can make people understand that something that he did is moronic and something that he did is good.
Or you look at fundamentally, what was it that Trump appealed to in that voting base? So a lot of people think that what Trump did was he just somehow found out that half of America was extremely racist. That's not what it was. Half of America is not extremely racist. A lot of the people that voted for him aren't extremely racist. what happened was they've been completely disillusioned by 40 years of politics which didn't give a shit about them. In the Midwest, they've been completely ignored for a very long time. Their needs haven't been met, and they're financially struggling immensely. Now, someone like Bernie Sanders is coming in, would come in and say, so your economic problems, we can try and help. We can give you Medicare, we can raise the minimum wage, we can try and rebuild the crumbling infrastructure of America and create thousands of jobs, millions of jobs, to make sure that you can put food on the table. Because a lot of people in America are struggling a lot right now. More than half the country is living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
I think more than half the country is earning $30,000 or less. It's not a lot of money. It's hard to live on that much money, especially if you're somewhere like New York City.
Especially if you have like a family or...
Yeah, if you're supporting a family, it's
100%.
almost impossible.
100%.
Now, Trump came into those people and he said, because someone like Biden is ignoring them. I don't think he speaks to them at all. Someone like Trump came in and said, your economic problems, I can give you someone to blame them on. It was immigrants. He demagogued immigrants, said that's the cause of your problems. Gives them a villain, gives them an us versus them, someone to target. Said, we'll build a wall, we'll stop them coming in.
He divided America on purpose because he thought that he'd get the split.
We'll make America great again.
Someone else said that in
Now-
history.
Now, the thing that would swing those,
blamed a whole group of people.
yeah, Hitler.
Oh,
The thing that would swing those,
The Bullstein guy.
yeah, also, the thing that would swing those voters would be to continue to appeal to their material interests.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's what leftism is. It's materialistic. So it's how can we improve your material conditions, which is the actual conditions that you're living in, rather than symbolic victories that don't actually affect people's lives. How can we actually help your individual circumstances? And Hillary Clinton didn't do that. Hillary Clinton supported NAFTA and outsourcing trade deals, which took American jobs in the Midwest and shipped them overseas in factories in China and stuff like that. Now that's on trade. Like Trump might look similar to Bernie in that way that he's not a neoliberal. Neither of them are neoliberals, and they don't want to outsource jobs. So you have to appeal to them. You have to figure out why did they vote for someone like Trump, and how can you appeal to them, rather than saying the most unproductive thing you can possibly say is all Trump supporters are racist. I hate it when people say
Because
that.
they're helping. Well, he's got something for them to,
There's some reason they're voting.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
Like as you said, jobs.
I've got
Wages.
I've got more faith in
Yeah.
people than to think that they're all just racists.
Yeah.
So you,
A lot of them are.
A lot
We're
of
not
them.
saying
a
that
lot of
we
them
are.
are, but there's ways that you can swing them across, or like if you've got racists voting for you, your platform isn't racist. I don't care if you're not gonna change everyone, but if you can have them vote for you and you don't, that's what I mean about don't compromise your values, but change your vocabulary.
Yeah.
Obviously, apart from Maddie, you're old, whatever. We're all fucking 15-year-olds in Australia.
Wait, you're
What are we gonna
2005.
do? Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
you're the old
Ah,
one, mate.
fuck. That's fine. I look the youngest.
We're
anyway.
really just sitting in shit talking politics, but like, nonetheless, it's just.
We're just giving our opinion.
Yeah, it's just
When
this,
we're not at all qualified, but it doesn't. But at the same time, neither are the people that you're talking about that are like, oh right, pipeline. We're just giving our side of the story, how we feel about everything. If you don't give a shit, I don't give a shit about you. You can just fuck off. Like that's the beauty about YouTube. If you don't care about what we've got to say,
Just don't watch it.
just don't watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be offended, but if you do like what we've got to say, stick around and watch.
How much will change about Biden? How much will
We'll
change
see.
under Biden? Yeah, we'll see. He might get pushed.
He might be worse than Trump for all we know.
He's
People
a
are dying 6 weeks.
He's a neoliberal corporate. He's a neoliberal corporatist. A lot of the Democratic Party are. The Democratic Party aren't even a left-wing party by Australian standards. They'd be like the Liberal Party. When you look at them policy by policy, they don't even have Medicare. What?
Yeah.
And they still think that their system's better. They're
They
so...
call themselves the best country in the world.
I hate Americans, man. Once or twice a day.
Oh, here we go.
Once or twice a day, I just think to myself, God, I hate that dumb country. At the dinner table, I'm just sitting there, and it's like I got Tourette's.
No, but
I'm just like, I hate Americans. And continue to eat. My dad's like, Jesus, Liam, are you alright?
no, but what I just can't fathom is that they made this.
Sorry, people with Tourette's. I don't know.
They made this constitution 100 years ago. So how do they think? Well, not more than 100 years ago. How do they think it would still be relevant in today's society?
It's like...
You know.
Yeah, why do they worship the Constitution?
Because and I've heard people talk about this before, but people that believe that the Constitution is the be-all, end-all, and they're like, well, because situations can change, right?
It's like...
Guns can change, but people can't. The human race has not developed at all, and it's like, how do things that people make develop,
But
yet
then the
people
that
don't?
make it.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you know what I mean?
there's no inherent human nature.
Like,
Human nature just adapts to the society that it lives in. So humans
Right.
are always going to develop.
that's right. Exactly. It's like you have to, and that's the problem with something like a constitution. I understand that we have to have rules and regulations around everything, or else you just have dickheads doing whatever they like. But if you don't update that all the time, then it's useless. Again, the problem with updating it all the time is that you're not going to be able to please everybody, but at the same time, you're not going to be able to please everybody if you leave it the same. So you just got to
Find them mediocre.
find middle
Do you
ground.
want to talk about January 26th?
Sure, it's coming up.
2 days. Paddy said to me earlier, he was like, why do they all... Why
Oh,
is there so
hang on.
much...
I thought you were talking about
Did you just say 2
Al.
days?
Al.
I didn't say 2
who's
days, he said 2
been
days.
1 year gone.
Yeah, it's.
Who?
January 26th is when Kobe died.
Oh, yeah, right.
Kobe died on Australia?
Did he actually?
Yeah. I
No.
double
Oh,
checked
no,
that.
I remember. No, I do remember that. I
Double
do
checked
remember that.
that.
Yeah,
Because
no.
we were at, I swear we were at that, that like weekend
Mate,
for
I was
you.
on-
26th
camp.
of January.
I was on boat camp.
26th. No,
I was
that
in
was...
Melbourne.
That was...
Oh, that was
the weekend
in
for him was
December.
like...
That
It
was
was
December.
December...
I can't remember.
14th.
I remember, but I can't remember why. But I remember driving in the car with Dad and saying like, "Rest in peace, Kobe," and I was
I
like,
thought it
"That's
was
not
bullshit.
true."
Yeah,
I was like, that's
same.
not. There's no way
It's
that's
like
true.
whenever like a famous person dies, I'm like, no way, that's...
Yeah,
that's
but with
not happening.
Kobe,
No, but
everyone's
especially Kobe. Like,
Everyone's like,
the thing is,
Yeah.
there's been so many things that if COVID hit America just a couple months earlier, the game wouldn't be on, helicopter wouldn't have gone, bang, Kobe's alive. Just things like that.
Yeah.
Just,
oh, well, I mean, every person
Explain.
who ever died from anything other than natural causes probably could have not died.
yeah,
if it wasn't
exactly.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
It's how it goes.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna die. It's just a matter
And
of
then our simulation
when and where.
resets.
Hey!
Yeah. And then it just says game over and we just start again.
I saw this thing.
Just press restart.
Yeah, let's live like we're in Roy. Let's all go off the grid.
Oh. I saw this thing, right?
Why that noise?
I don't know.
It was,
Just-
Please
Calm
like
down.
zoom into Matt's face when he
Don't.
does that.
I
sound.
don't know.
Zoom into his perm.
It's not a perm.
Let's get his perm. Let's get his perm.
Don't-
So-
Nah, it's
Don't
fine.
change
We'll
the
fix
shot.
It, we'll fix it. We'll fix it.
Anyway, saw this thing. Why do babies come out crying? Because they're just traumatized of how they died in the previous life. And they just come out crying.
Yeah, that all because they have to breathe for the first time.
Yeah. Maybe that or the warmth of them.
Yeah,
It's
mate,
not
sucks.
I would love to
They
live
come
in
out
a
to
womb.
the cold.
If I could still be in my mum.
Oh no!
We have to think about this last 5 minutes.
What are you coming out the gut?
Mate, that's not what I meant. Obviously, I meant
Sweet home Alabama.
Obviously, I meant I was chosen a baby. Obviously.
You know what? We'll mention that this time next year. What's your opinions? What's your predictions? What's the biggest thing that's going to change between now and this time?
Are we doing a
Yeah,
yearly
yeah.
show with us four?
Yep, you got one thing that's gonna happen.
But
this
we
year.
didn't really
What's
talk
happening
about
this
like
year?
the year. We just
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah,
What's
I know.
happening this year? One thing that's gonna happen this year is gonna change everything.
Wait, for like...
It's gonna affect.
What, you just want us to give a completely random
Yep.
prediction and see
Yep.
if any of us get
See
anything
if
right.
anyone gets it.
I'm gonna say, I don't know, Biden drops out and just lets Kamala Harris be president by the end of the year.
All right, Ollie.
Can it be a prediction about anything?
Yeah, anything.
He's gonna what?
No, did you hear that?
Not somewhat. That's funny.
Right, what's your prediction?
My prediction.
Yep.
Is that Matt's gonna grow up by the end of the year.
Mate, yeah.
Oh, that is out of pocket.
Oh,
Leave
right.
him alone. Look at that cute little perm.
Yeah,
Look at him.
Youngie.
Alright, Matt, what's your
Okay,
opinion?
naturally, you fucks.
What's your opinion, Matt? Yeah,
Ollie's
zoom in on that perm.
gonna go back to three figure weight.
Excuse me?
Ollie's hitting 100 kicks.
Oh,
Hey,
that's
I'm
what
reaching-
from Joe
Matt's
Biden's
in
gonna
the
be
grand
dropping
tendency.
out of president. Ollie's gonna be three.
What was
figures.
your opinion, Ollie?
My prediction is we're all gonna be the best looking guys in Australia by the end of the year.
Alright, Paddy, what's your opinion? No,
That does not look good.
I want this to just be so complete. Like, I want you to say Germany just starts another world war and we all should have
Yeah.
killed them as a country a long time.
That's been
That's a bit far. Fuck it.
Not all of them. The country Germany.
Oh, still
Surely we learned the first two. Three strikes, you're out. You're
Like-
gonna win the third world war.
I don't know. Morocco's gonna take over the world.
Okay, let's just.
You heard it here first, ladies.
That lasagna is gonna become like so overhyped, and everyone's gonna love lasagna.
There's gonna be a lot of memes about lasagna.
Yeah. Or like Jack Steele's gonna win the Brownlow.
Alright, sure.
Jack
We'll run with
Steele's
that.
winning the Brownlow.
Alright, catch you later.
What was that last 10 minutes?
It was awesome. It was beautiful.